making the invisible visible, Black women 365 days of the year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
So my name is Massinda Zinga. I'm an artivist, choreographer, and project coordinator. I'm working at the intersection of dance, healing, but also like memory and heritage. Beyond title, I see myself as a bridge between the bodies, but also like memory, and also between communities, and hold the knowledge around Black culture that I'm researching continuously, and making sure that, our story are kept alive and transmitted. A big part of my work is educational. So I do create and design a lot of programs, lecture, talk, movement workshops, where I guide people around African and Caribbean movement, but also like having an Afrocentric approach to that. So staying critical is important for me in my work. And my work is driven by one core question. So it is, how do we remember through movement, and making sure that the story that has been erased or silenced is still alive. My work in motion is really about moving between space, intentions, but also like context. So I may be working with like a festival that is working with Black cultures, and I will work with them on how we can create like more inclusive spaces, and making sure that they are presented in a way that it's not erasing the history or the meaning, the cultural meaning behind it. But I can also be facilitating a retreat in Jamaica, for example, for the diasporic people, and where we will have movement, but also a lot of reflection and connecting with communities to reflect about Blackness, identities, but also how do we navigate living in the Western world and oppression, system of oppressions. I also do a lot of research on Black joy through Carnival. And all this leads me to like create a lot of projects. And what matters the most for me is to create space where people are like coming intentionally, and that the journey is transformative. So I've met, when I started my research in Jamaica, I met, of course, Dr. L'Antoinette Steins. And I think that till today, she still stay with me, because the way she guide us, especially as Black women, is really a way where, you don't have to shrink yourself. You have to be loud, actually. And it's like this experience, I still have goosebumps today. It's really something that make me reflect and remember that we always have to reconnect to our own bodies, to our own stories, because she will bring the whole lineage. Yeah, definitely something that helped me in my work to create it with more intention and more grounding. The power of silence, like in my work, there is a lot of like just listening, watching, talking, observing. And I think that is something that we don't really value in the West, because we always have to produce and to be performing, like to be ready for anything. But like for me, this thing of like taking the time to process, to digest, is something that is really important in my practice, and that I'm trying to implement, even if people are like, we have deadline, you have to do that. Yeah, but I'm doing it actually. So yeah. So the small wins would be like when I guide like circle or workshops, and I feel that people are shifting from, for example, I was talking about how we shrink ourselves as Black women. And when I see like someone getting out of their shells, like it's really for me something that I'm like, okay, I'm doing my job. Who I'm taking care of myself is really, really important because holding space take a lot of energy. So I have plenty routines daily for my well-being. I do workout a lot, I meditate, and I make sure I have enough alone time so that I can recharge. When the work feels challenging, I just allow myself to slow down. Slowing down is really important. Daydreaming, just resting, just doing nothing is productive. So, yeah, I'm doing that.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.